Good evening, welcome to Central News for Tuesday the 11th of March. I'm Hilary Entwistle. It can be a scary and anxious time for children who are unwell and spending time in hospital. Hospitals play specialists work with the staff, patients and families to reduce anxiety and fear through play. Kids Play specialist Lisa Person explains how.
Play is children's world, it's how they learn. So by having play experiences, it helps them to understand and interpret a hospital environment. It helps to normalise the things that they might not have seen or experienced before. It gives them an opportunity to express how they're feeling, and for us to be able to maybe help interpret some of those feelings and support them with those anxieties and things that are new and foreign and unfamiliar for them.
A funding boost from the Tauronga's Electricity Consumers Trust means the model railway track extensions in Memorial Park are likely to be completed in time for a 2016 National Convention. The Tauranga Model Marine and Engineering Club wants to show them off at the National Convention of Model Engineers to be held in Tauranga in January 2016. The club's publicity officer, Brian Kincaid, says the track project was inching along as money permitted until TECT gave the model engineers a boost late last year. This year the club is hoping to lay concrete on the ramp, do all of the railings and lay the track. Given good weather and no other hold-ups, the project could be in operation by the end of the year. Low water levels in Lake Rotoiti mean that the Bay Plenty Regional Council is now operating the Okere Gates at a lower flow but maintaining a rafting window of higher flows during the middle of the day. Lake Rotoiti is currently 50 millimetres below its main operating range, with lower flow rates through the Ohau Channel from Lake Rotorua. Flows into the Kaituna River are carefully controlled under very strict consent conditions by the operation of the Okere Gates. The gates has been operating at near minimum flow rates since the start of January. At the beginning of March, rafting operators on the Kaituna River were informed that in order to maintain best lake levels, the Okere Gates would be closed down to reduce flows. Around 200 allied health professionals from across New Zealand will gather at Waikato Hospital late this month for the country's 4th National Allied Health Scientific and Technical Conference. This is the first year the biennial 3-day conference will be held in the Waikato region, and it has been timed to coincide with New Zealand's famed Balloons Over Waikato event. Allied health refers to a group of qualified health professionals other than doctors and nurses who work directly with clients and closely with other health specialists. Now for our region's marine forecast, Raglan, West Coast, variable 10 knots and southwest. Your high tide is at 8:22 in the morning and 10:42 at night. Tauranga, your high tide is at 5:04 p.m. The situation out there is a northeast wind and 10 knots. Just ahead, youth search and rescue. Welcome to Central News. Young people aged between 14 to 18 are contributing to life-saving searches through the Hamilton Land Search and Rescue Youth Initiative, YSAR. Anne-Marie spoke with Barry Ware, the Hamilton YSAR coordinator, to find out more about the youth program.
Barry and Jim, welcome to Central News. Barry, the Youth Search and Rescue Team, it's been running for about 8 years, and in that time over 100 teenagers have gone through the course. How has it helped them?
It helps them really in confidence, just be more confident in themselves and of course confident in the bush. So on multiple levels, confidence.
Jim, you've been involved for 3 years. Why did you get involved?
My best mate was in on it, and he started in 2011, and every week coming back from the weekend I hear about his awesome stuff that he'd get to in the bush, and I said to get in on it.
And how have you found it? What's it done for you?
It's awesome, just confidence in the bush, everything from, it doesn't go straight from the bush to, it goes out into everything that you do in YSAR, so yeah.
Barry, what happens at the end of their basic training? The students can actually be out there amongst the adults land search and rescue?
Yes, there's two ways they can get involved in helping during actual searches. One is when they complete the computer training, then they can help at base and help with running the computers, the software, the radios, etc. The other is that they can graduate the program by going through our series of solos, and then they are able to go out in the field and actually help search with the search teams.
I'd guess that the teenagers' technological savviness would be a great asset, but also the youth and fitness side of it as well.
Absolutely, both those. They're just perfectly suited to search and rescue.
Jim, have you helped on many searches?
Yeah, I think I've done 5 so far, and it's an awesome experience.
And what do you like most about it?
Just being like in the moment, you're part of the whole atmosphere of helping out, trying to find someone and helping out the family. So yeah.
You take 20 teenagers per year between the ages of 14 to 18. Do they need to be from Hamilton?
No, we have members from Te Amuru, Cambridge, Morrinsville, Matamata, quite a wide distance from Hamilton, and the families get together, they help out with the transport, and they find the means to get to Hamilton for the training.
You train once a week?
Every Wednesday night, and then the camps are every second or third weekend.
And how long are the camps for?
They start 7 o'clock on Friday night, finish 4 o'clock on Sunday.
Jim, if someone was thinking, what would you say?
It's the best thing I've ever done, so go hard, do it. Don't not miss out on this opportunity that you've got.
Any 14 to 18-year-olds interested in joining YSAR can check out ysar.org.nz. Te Korowai Hauora o Te Hauraki is carrying out a survey to find out where people's concerns are with health.
I think the government has recognised that for such a long time their social housing service delivery has been pretty ineffective, and they are now moving towards looking at pushing the governance of social housing back out into community, so community providers doing that. So I think that's the first thing that needs to be recognised. The second part about this is that anecdotally, so I've gotten around, for example, moved around to, we have groups of kaumātua that are brought together on a regular basis, and I've, for instance, in Paeroa, had talked with them. Nearly 70% of them rented homes, and they were, they didn't own homes, so they were either staying with family or friends or in homes that were cold, damp, and that contributed to their, their unhealthiness, so to speak. So I'm very keen over the next few years to implement kaumātua housing in there. There are a number of tremendous models around the country where organisations have set up kaumātua housing in not only providing safe and warm homes, but also include a social part of that in their delivery. So they're formed in such a way that they can come out and socialise with other tenants or go back out into their own homes. And it just, again, when we talk about whare tapawhana, it works for in that particular area. So.
And how big is the Hauraki area, and what's the demographic in the Hauraki area?
What we, Hauraki, they go up and down in terms of the demographics, so we've got a large portion of them of the population as being transient, so holiday makers, for example. But for us, we, in terms of our registered population, we have just under 7,000.
Just under 7,000 registered clients. But the demographic for the areas is an ageing population, like a lot of the rest of the country. And effectively we have to look at that need, especially in housing. So we recognise that we've got a large ageing population, and some of the housing probably doesn't fit the need currently.
I think also the issues of rurality is quite important to take into consideration when we're planning and delivering our services.
Visit korowai.co.nz to find out more information and to complete the survey. Coming up, your weather for Wednesday and what you need to know as a homeowner. Welcome back. There have been changes made to home insurance policies and many are becoming concerned. I spoke with Rex Patterson of Total Rebuild Quantifiers to find out what you need to know as a homeowner. Welcome to the program, Rex.
Thank you.
Now, there have been changes made to home insurance and how one goes about insuring their home, so can you explain that?
Since the Christchurch earthquakes occurred last year, there's been a major change within the world of insurance. The overseas reinsurers of insurance companies have said to the world that you can no longer have replacement insurance. Now, all of us that own homes are used to this for going on for years, where you just paid a premium. If something went wrong, your insurance company paid out. That was grand and it was a good place to be. The world changed. Nowadays, what you have to do as a homeowner is you have to pick a number to insure your house for. Now, that's a great thing, except you've got to figure out a way to pick that number. And that's, of course, the magic of science.
So it's just Christchurch that has kind of led to this whole national, well, international change.
I think what you'll look at when it came to New Zealand, and New Zealand is one of the last countries in the world to shift from full replacement insurance to actually having a fixed sum insurance. Christchurch, while it indeed was a catalyst, it was a time where a lot of insurance companies had some pretty heavy expenditure and large costs. We're seeing that the cost of a rebuild within Christchurch is a lot higher than people thought it was going to be. So making the decision of saying that if you're in the business of insurance, and I'm not in that business, but if you're in the business of insurance, you've got to say to yourself, I need to know how much I'm exposed to it for. So you need to say to your customers, which is me, you, anyone that owns a home, say how much do you want to insure it for, then they can work out what it will cost to do that and they know what their exposure level is so they don't go broke.
How does that work with the pricing market increasing and the value of your home increasing?
Yet to be determined, because one of the things we find, and I'll give a beautiful example of this, we went to Taumarunui the other day, we had a little two-bedroom villa in Taumarunui, and it wasn't worth that much on the market, sorry Taumarunui, but if we deal with the same two-bedroom villa in Ponsonby in Auckland, it'd be sort of $1.5 to $2 million. So the retail value of it has nothing to do with the rebuilding cost. The rebuilding cost, in fact, in Taumarunui is higher than it is in Ponsonby. Because there's not as many builders, the cost of getting goods down there is far higher. So the two things don't have relevance to each other, and I think New Zealanders are struggling to get that as an understanding.
I mean, that's definitely one of the things that was kind of going through my head. So there are a few options out there available. We can use these figure-provided default things by the insurance companies that they're putting out there. Do you advise using those?
You'll see that the insurance companies give you a number of options. They give you the default sum insured figure. If you read their websites and you read their information properly, they actually have disclaimers in there saying this is only an interim figure. It is just an interim number until you do something about it. And the insurance companies have been very, very clear about it. And I know as Kiwis we don't like spending money to have to do something new, but the insurance companies have been clear and said it's an interim number until you give us a proper number and you need to go and do something about that. Now, the insurance companies then do the great things. They send you the letter, and we've all had them by now, saying, have a look at this, read through this, interim figure, go and do something about it. You can go and get some professional advice, and that's the right thing to do. Then they give you another little option sitting at the bottom which says, go and have a go at the online calculator. The online calculator is one of the most fun things you'll ever do, because if you go and have a look at it, you'll go, how do I describe my house? How do I put the information in about my property? And it's not very specific, and in fact they have disclaimers on there as well, and the disclaimers go down the track of saying do not use this for insurance purposes. So they're saying it's just a way of trying to give you a way to help you make a decision, but the truth is there's only one way of trying to figure out how much a house will cost to rebuild, and that's by going to somebody that can work out the numbers. And it's not a it's not a mystical science, it's a real science. It's a true numbers based. It costs this for the screws, it costs this for the nails, it costs this for your roof, it costs this for the concrete. And there'll be some people that think, oh, okay, I can just use a number of so many dollars a square metre. Now the square metre rate is not a good way to work on, and the reason why is if you're building a house in Tauranga, for instance, it's more expensive than building one here in Matamata. Okay, the reason why is in Tauranga they have to use coastal grade materials. They're beside the sea, so everything has to be a higher spec. So you go, oh, okay, there's one little variation. It's quite a major expense. Now, if you're building a house on the side of a hill, as opposed to building a house on a flat, there's a lot of different cost. When you look at those insurance policies that we've all got, and they'll say things like, you need to be specific about your retaining walls. Okay, so they might ask you, have you got none, some, or a lot? Now your perception and my perception.
It's specific, isn't it?
What is none? That's pretty clear. What is some? I don't know, my sum is different to your sum. A lot is different. So when you're looking at those things, you can't just make sort of rash judgments about it, because the one thing that you've got as a homeowner is you've got your money tied up in it. Most people's biggest wealth asset is in fact their home. And if you only have that there, you really want to make sure that you protect the money, because it's just money and bricks and mortar. That's what it is. So you need to make sure that if you have the disaster, if you had a Christchurch, if you have your house that burned to the ground, you really need to make sure that you can actually rebuild it and actually be able to have the same place back that you had before.
Just ahead, your weather for Wednesday. Welcome back to Central News. From riding around on a bike with streamers out the handlebars at age 5 to riding for New Zealand at the 2012 Summer Olympics, Rushley Buchanan has come a long way. She recently spoke with Anne-Marie as she prepared for this weekend's National Track Cycling Champs at the Avantidrome.
It's been amazing. We've been able to ride on this velodrome 5 times a week, be able to just wake up in the morning at home and come over here every day and then go back home. It's really the best prep there has been. This is a world-class facility and it's an honour to be able to train on it every day.
Tell me about winning the New Zealand road race for a second time.
It was pretty emotional. To be able to win a New Zealand national title once is an amazing experience. So I was ecstatic to back it up. It was 4 years ago, my first win. So I'm on a different team this year. So it means a lot internationally to be able to wear the silver fern and represent New Zealand every day while I'm training and racing is an honour.
Why do you think it was such an emotional experience?
The first time I won in 2010 was more about proving myself as a cyclist and being competitive on the international level. This time it was more about backing that up and proving to myself that I was still up at that international level and still being competitive, and just it was more personal on a personal level.
You're a member of the United Healthcare Pro Cycling team. What does this mean?
So United Healthcare Pro Cycling team is my international professional road team that I race overseas on, and we race internationally all around the world. They support my track interests, and so they're allowing me to stay here and do nationals and then go and do Commonwealth Games. They're based in North Carolina in the United States, and so basically it's like a professional team, and we have team members from all around the world, and we all come together and race every weekend in the States, or you race different races, and it's just a cool thing to be a part of, and it's another way of putting my hand up on the international circuit.
Last year saw you on a plane almost every weekend. Tell me about the life of a professional cyclist.
So in the States, which is where I race most of the time, there's races all the time, every single weekend. So on United Healthcare, we have a team of 12 girls, but mainly 6 to 8 race a weekend. So it'll be like a selection, and you can be racing up to every single weekend.
How has Bike New Zealand helped you?
Bike NZ has been amazing. I've been a part of I don't know, the squad, you could say, for most of my cycling career. They've supported me since Junior Worlds, so since I was still at school, and they gave me guidelines and helped me grow through the sport, and now they're achieving my lifelong dreams.
Who have your mentors been so far on your journey?
Well, I started cycling because I saw Sarah Ulmer in the Olympics on a velodrome like this one. So, you know, at the Track Nationals next weekend, hopefully if I can inspire one person like she inspired me, that will be pretty amazing.
Now, the weather for Wednesday. Hamilton, your Wednesday looks like it will be mainly fine with light winds. Your expected high is 25 and 11. Paeroa, long fine spells, isolated afternoon and evening showers inland, light winds and an expected high of 24 and an overnight low of 12. Matamata the same for you with an expected high of 22 and an overnight low of 13. Te Awamutu, the same for you, 25 and an overnight low of 11. And Tokoroa, you finish it off with the same. Light winds, fine spells, isolated afternoon and evening showers inland. Your expected high is 24 and an overnight low of 12. Bay Plenty Tauranga mainly fine with sea breezes, 23 and 15 your expected temperatures there. Te Puke mostly fine but isolated afternoon and evening showers inland for the Bay of Plenty. Your expected high for your Wednesday Te Puke is 21 and 13. That is Central News for today. Send us an email at news@tvcentral.co.nz or like our Facebook page and let us know about any stories going on in your neck of the woods that you'd like us to cover. Anne-Marie will be here tomorrow night with more guests from around the Waikato and the Bay of Plenty. I'm Hilary Entwistle. I hope you have a lovely evening.
This has been an Alpha Media production, a division of Television Media Group.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.